Alrighty, here we go. I'm just now getting around to making this video, but we are a few months out from our whirlwind of a Disney year. We made 8 trips to Disney World in 12 months with our family of 4, 2 boys. They were 5 and 2 at the age that we did this crazy year of Disney, as I keep calling it. So I thought it would be fun to do a little recap of our favorite hotels, and then in other videos I'm also going to get into other favorites and tips and all kinds of things. But for this first video, I just thought I would dive into a ranking of the hotels that we stayed at. Now, we did not stay at Disney hotels the entire time that we were going down there. We utilized a lot of off-property hotels using points. We had a family home that we were able to utilize for some of the nights when we were down there. And so that said, we did not, spend a week at each of these hotels. Every single trip was different, but our goal was to visit all the different kind of types and categories of hotels that we possibly could, just to get a feel for what we really liked. A little bit of background: before we invested in annual passes and decided to do this crazy year of Disney thing, we were loyal Pop Century hotel goers. We were the type of people that would go rope drop to close every day. We would maximize our time when we were doing these less frequent Disney trips, and we really tried to squeeze the most out of it. But this year we did something a little different, where we had our annual passes, and so we were able to kind of take it a little slower and really just take it all in and spend more time at the hotels and just getting to know everything there is to do at Disney, a place that we just have fallen in love with. And so that's probably a little too long of a background, but that being said, we stayed at 8 different Disney hotels during the course of these 8 trips that we did down there. And like I said, we didn't stay at all of them for long. Sometimes it was just a night or two, but we gave them all a fair chance, and this is what we have compiled as our ranking of these 8 hotels that we stayed at. So for number 1, our absolute favorite hotel, Disney hotel that we stayed at, and this was unanimous across all family members, was the Beach Club. We absolutely loved the Beach Club. And I will go into this a little bit further on each specific hotel's video, but just a quick little recap of why we love Beach Club. We loved the walk to Epcot. It was such an easy and quick walk to that back entrance of Epcot, and Epcot's our favorite park too, so maybe that's why we loved it. But we just loved it. It was just such an easy little walk, and a beautiful walk too, there by the boardwalk. And it was so easy for us to spend all day at the hotel and then just pop in at night for a concert and dinner and dessert and just a little stroll around the International Gateway, and that was just amazing. 5-minute walk into Epcot. The pools, the sand, the water slides. I know it's pretty consistent that everyone says that Beach Club has the best pools, and it is true. Stormalong Bay was amazing for our boys and our family. We spent a whole day just exploring there, and it was amazing. And the last kind of highlight is the character breakfast that they have at Beach Club. The Cape May character breakfast was actually our favorite breakfast, and it was there at our favorite hotel, and so you didn't even have to leave to go to that. And we just had the best character interactions and the best cast member interactions there, and so that's what we loved about Beach Club. Coming in at number 2, we have the Contemporary. I went back and forth on this one because, as you'll see in the Contemporary video, we had a not so stellar experience checking in, where we were downgraded our room, unfortunately, from the theme park view to just a regular view. So I know you are probably shocked that this made number 2, but let me tell you why. Again, the walk to Magic Kingdom is amazing. 5 minutes from the Contemporary to the gates of Magic Kingdom. No hassle with having to park and ride a tram or walk or a monorail or anything. You just walk to Magic Kingdom. Nowhere else can you do that. I mean, you can technically walk from Polynesian and the Grand Floridian, which we have done before, but at the end of the day, it's a longer walk and not great on your feet. But from the Contemporary, very easy walk to the Magic Kingdom. I loved the interior corridor rooms, being that aside from the garden wing, we were in the main tower. The main tower, all the rooms are very easy to access. They're all inside, so you don't have to worry about going outside at all. They're all pretty centrally located to the elevator. The monorail access is within that main tower as well, so you don't even have to go outside to get to the monorail. But again, that walk to Magic Kingdom is just stellar. So that's number 2. Coming in at number 3, we have the Grand Floridian. And again, I kind of went back and forth on this because the Grand Floridian and the Polynesian are very similar. I would almost put them tied. They were neck and neck. But the Grand Floridian was nice. You do have that monorail, ability to take the monorail to Magic Kingdom and Epcot, which is great. The rooms themselves were actually my favorite at Grand Floridian. They were just beautiful. Like, you just walk in and it's just absolutely beautiful. And they're spacious, and I just loved the feel of the rooms, and it really is grand, and just kind of, it was a dream come true for me to stay there. And the Polynesian comes in at number 4, and kind of the same perks as that monorail access was great. And the theming was great. I think for the kids, they would prefer the Polynesian with, you know, the tiki torches, and they do have a nice splash pad and pool and slides, and Grand Floridian has that too. But I think for the kids, the Polynesian was maybe just a tiny bit ahead of Grand Floridian, but overall, neck and neck for those two. Number 5, we have Animal Kingdom Lodge. Some highlights of Animal Kingdom Lodge are they had some great water slides that our boys loved. They were just the right size for our youngest, where he was able to do that by himself and loved it, and we were just able to catch him and help him a little bit at the end, but he loved the water slides there. And the unique experience of having the balcony, if you have a Savannah view room, is very unique, like nowhere else. I don't think there's anywhere else where you can just walk out on your balcony and see the animals. And so that's just a really cool, unique experience. And Boma, which was the buffet meal. We did breakfast, and we actually all loved the food there, and it was a cool experience. There's no characters, but it's a neat experience there. Coming in at number 6, we have the Art of Animation. So we stayed in a Cars suite, and we actually stayed with my parents as well. So there were 6 of us in that suite. But even with the 6 of us, we kind of gave my parents the bedroom. So they had their own bedroom and bathroom. And then we had a bed, and the kids had a bed. Both had pull-out beds in kind of the main living space. But we had a little kitchenette, and we had our own bathroom. And so the space, it was nice that we were all kind of able to stay in the same suite, but they still had their separate space too. I would say the theming was amazing. We actually had never really wandered over there. Even with staying at Pop Century, we never walked over there. And our boys at the time just loved Cars. And so to be able to literally look outside of our window, we had an amazing room, and we were right outside of like Dock Hudson. And so the kids were able to just look out and see all these Cars characters right outside their room, and that was really neat and fun. And you can't beat the Skyliner access. Amazing. We have always loved the Skyliner access, even as somebody who's afraid of heights. You know, I don't I wouldn't say I love it when I'm in the air, but the kids love it as if it's just one of the rides, and honestly, we've never had to wait super long to get on it. I don't know, it moves pretty efficiently as long as, everything's up and running according to plan and there's no weather issues, which thankfully we've never had. But even in the morning, the line moves really quickly and they're just able to get people through there quickly. And usually you get your own little Skyliner to yourself. Occasionally you'll have to share, but that's really neat to have that Skyliner access that takes you to Hollywood Studios and Epcot. So that was a little highlight of our animation. Coming in at number 7, we have Port Orleans Riverside. So a downside of Port Orleans is that you can't walk anywhere, you don't have the Skyliner access, you have to take a bus everywhere. So it's a little bit more isolated. You can take a boat to Disney Springs. However, as you'll see in that video, I didn't really feel like that was a perk at all because I've never had any issues like finding parking at Disney Springs. So having to take a bus everywhere at Port Orleans. There are no elevators, so even though we put in a request for a first floor room, we still got put on the second floor, and we had to, Kevin had to carry our giant double stroller and all of our stuff up those flights of stairs every single time, up and down, without an elevator. So that was a huge con, and there is a lot of walking. It's a huge resort, and again, that depends on luck of the draw where you get, but we were pretty far out to where, walking to the pool, walking to the main dining space and the bus stop and all of those things, it's just a lot of walking. And that was a huge downside for us, Riverside. And the rooms were pretty small too. I mean, we can make it work, but compared to, the deluxe resorts, they're smaller, and that's what you get for a moderate resort. Coming in at last place is Fort Wilderness. We stayed at a cabin in Fort Wilderness for 3 nights, and as you'll see in the video, it was a bad experience. It's pretty much impossible to get anywhere. It's super isolated. I think part of it was that we did not prepare enough. We didn't rent a golf cart. We didn't bring in food, like groceries. We were kind of out of groceries at that point because it was the end of our trip. And so part of it was poor planning on our part. That said, I hated it. I hated Fort Wilderness. It was by far my least favorite resort. I just didn't get good vibes from the place. I didn't feel like we fit in. And yeah, just getting anywhere, literally anywhere, including the pool, including the quick service restaurant, including the access to the ferry boat that takes you to Magic Kingdom, which you would think that would be cool, but getting to where the ferry is just as much work, if not more, than just riding a bus over to Magic Kingdom from any of the other resorts. So it was isolated and impossible to get anywhere within the resort. So that said, there is our ranking, and again, we did not stay at all of the resorts. We tried to pick 1 or 2 from each category. We tried to cover, value, moderate, deluxe, within walking distance of this park, within walking distance of that park, Skyliner access, ferry access. We tried to cover a good portion of the different types of resorts, and that's kind of where it landed for our family. And again, that list will depend on what your family prefers, but if you're watching this and thinking, I have no idea where to start, that kind of gives you a general overview of what we thought of those different Disney hotels. And overall, I would still choose any of those Disney resorts over staying off property if you can, if it's, within your budget, if you're, not there during peak times. Like obviously, like when we went the week after Christmas, we didn't even stay on property at all because at that point, the price doesn't outweigh just being off property. With that said, I'm going to throw in a little bonus hotel. Our favorite off-property hotel that we stayed at, and we did quite a few, you know, here and there at the beginning of the trip, the end of the trip, whatever, just to kind of break it up and make it more affordable for us. And our absolute favorite by far was the Embassy Suites at Sunset Walk. So I think Embassy Suites by Hilton Orlando Sunset Walk is what it's called, like if you Google it. And I don't know if that's just because with our points, we were able to get like this very large suite with a bedroom, and I don't know if it was just that. I don't know if they have regular rooms or not. I'd have to ask Kevin, but we both agree that that was by far, it's pretty new. I think it just opened last year, and it's very nice and pretty easy drive onto the Walt Disney World property. So that was our little bonus favorite off property. And I will get into some more of our favorites and rankings and fun tips and tricks and all the things that we've learned this year in later videos. So thanks for watching.